Hi everyone, Jaffe here, and welcome back to Around the World in Many Days. Today's episode is number 20 and it's titled Singles, Doubles, Triples. Now, already 20 puzzles in. If you've been looking at the map, you might be wondering how long is this going to take? And I've been kind of reluctant to share that from the get go because I still wanted to keep options open, but I might as well at this point. So, the original plan, which is still in place, is 81 puzzles, so 80 destinations, making the entire trip, and then one puzzle to sort of summarize it all. And the reason why it's 80 is obviously because then it would be around the world in 80 days, right? So that might still change depending on depending on how much work it ends up being. But so far it's looking good, and we're already 20 puzzles in. So um, basic gist of it, a lot more to go still. So this is number 20, and let's look at what this is. So we have a crossword grid, we have some circled numbers in the grid, and we have some cryptic clues as well. So let's read what Gladys writes us this time. Dear puzzling, the circled numbers in this grid form a Kurodoko puzzle. Shade some cells in the grid. Cells with circled numbers cannot be shaded. Uh, the number indicates how many unshaded cells that cell sees in total, vertically and horizontally, including the cell itself. The unshaded area must be orthogonally continuous, and no two shaded cells can share an edge. Let's see what that means. Just briefly, so we have this grid, so we are shading some cells, can't shade two adjacent cells, and we can't block off these unshaded cells. They must all be continuous. Um, and how these numbers work is this 4 might be, let's say, like this, or like this, or like this. So it sees uh, four cells, including itself horizontally and vertically, like this. So this one is this, and this, and obviously surrounded on all sides by these shaded cells. So that's the grid puzzle here, and then we have a crossword as well. So let's see. Each cell in the crossword grid contains either 1, 2, or 3 letters. All 3-letter cells are indicated by the shaded cells in the Kurodoko. You must figure out the number and location of the 2-letter cells yourself. So this is a case, and we haven't had many of these cases where the one puzzle depends on the other. The usual case is that we have two independent puzzles and we can solve them in whatever order. But here we have to solve the Kurodoko first, and that helps us solve the crossword then. And then what's the destination going to be? Today I have taken it easy. I've gone for a walk in the forest, following tiny creeks among the trees, surrounded by scenery that looks like something you would find somewhere much closer to my previous destination. Can you guess where I am? Love, Gladys. Now that refers to the previous destination, which was Arlech Glacier in Switzerland, and we are looking for some kind of forest area then. Okay, so let's dive in. We're going to do the Kurodoko first because we're going to need that to solve the crossword. So let's start with that. Zoom in a little bit. It's too much. Okay, so we're shading something here, and obviously these numbers can't be shaded. We can just mark these. I'm going to use this light green as always to mark the unshaded, the cells that can't be shaded. So how to solve Kurodoko? Well, this if you look at these numbers that are next to each other, uh, just in general, if the more unshaded cells you have, the the more unshaded cells a number sees, the more restricted it is. So, for example, this one already sees 2, so we can only add one more. So we have 4 options: this one, this one, this one, or this one. So that's the most restricted one here, whereas this 4 could be like this, or like this, or it has many options basically, because it only sees one of the four cells it's supposed to see. So this is the best place to start here, these 2 3s. So let's see what we could have here. So let's see. Let's take these first. So for example, this would complete both of these threes if we have this unshaded. That would mean that we are surrounding this tree on all sides with shaded cells to make sure it doesn't see any other unshaded cells. But we are also surrounding this tree, and this already runs into a problem. We can't put two shaded cells next to each other. So that's not allowed. So this would break the puzzle. So it can't be unshaded. So we have a shaded cell here. That's what we know. Now, once we have a shaded cell in the grid, we know it can't be next to another shaded cell. So these can already be marked as unshaded. And we can do this every time we mark a cell shaded. Now then, this cell being unshaded would run into the exact same problem because we would have to surround both of these threes because that's already three cells they see. Not allowed, so that's shaded. That means that's unshaded, that's unshaded. And now since we have this unshaded cell surrounded on three sides by either these walls or these shaded cells, in order to join this with the others, remember these unshaded cells need to be one connected area. So we can't do that. That's not part of the connected area. So this has to get out, and the only way it can get out is here. So that must be unshaded. Now, once we mark this unshaded, this tree is complete. So it sees three cells that are, it sees three unshaded cells. So this can't be the fourth unshaded cell. So that's shaded. These are unshaded, and this already sees three. Now it sees these three, and we can surround that as well. Again, shaded cell, surround with unshaded, and again, this is bounded on three sides, like it has three borders here that it can't grow on, like it can't escape through here. So only way for this to join the others is to go here. Now this still doesn't see, even though this is three, this doesn't see this cell, so this still sees only two. But this tree already sees three unshaded cells. So this one and this one. So we have to mark these shaded, and that gives us a lot more unshaded cells. Here we are. Now this unshaded cell must join the others, must be part of the connected area. So only one way to do that is to come through here. Now this 4 is already done. It sees 1, 2, 3, 4. So surround that with shaded cells. Again, surround those with unshaded. And again, this has to escape through here. And this also can be surrounded by unshaded cells. Now all that's left to do is this corner here. And we have a 3 here. So we can't make this unshaded. That would see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cells already. So that's not allowed. This is a 3. So that must be shaded, which means this must be unshaded, which means if you look at this, if you zoom out a little bit, you look at this entire top area of these unshaded cells, this green area, how is it going to join with this green area? And the answer is through here only. That's the only option. So this can't be, or one another way to look at it is if you put a shaded cell here, we are blocking this entire area from ever joining these others. So we can't do that. That's unshaded. Same story here. This would block, like close out all of these. So can't do that. So that's unshaded as well. That completes the 3. So that's shaded, and we are done. This must be unshaded. So that's the Kurodoko done. It's not very hard. And that should give us now something to help us with the crossword. So now this has zoomed my crossword grid as well. I'm going to have to make that right. Let's see. Okay, we can see the crossword grid now, and now we are going to have to shade some cells here. Let's make them this light gray. I think we can, yeah, we can see that. So these cells are shaded. Then we have, starting from this one, we have all of these. Then we have 2 here, 1 here, and these 2 still. So I think those are all the shaded cells. And we can start looking at the crossword. So let's see, close this one and look at the crossword clues then. So we're looking at cryptic clues here, even though we don't have the enumerations. And obviously the enumerations are missing so that we don't give up the how many letters each answer is. So we know these gray cells are going to have 3 letters in them. So this could be A, B, C or something like this. So this one across it is at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 6 letters. But any of these could be doubled. So let's start with one across. Always a good place to start. So one across is here. 6 across native, deceased mimic. And I said good place to start, but it actually is not, because this refers to the answer of 6 across, and we don't know that yet. So we can't start with that one. Let's do 6 across. Let's try to get this one. One from the water hemisphere, disturbed Saturnalia. Disturbed should be ring a bell as an anagram indicator. You disturb these letters. Now Saturnalia is 10 letters. And how many do we need? So this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. At least 10 letters. And any of these, obviously, whites could obviously be doubled. So Saturnalia would be 10 letters. So if we anagram Saturnalia, can we get one from the water hemisphere? Now the water hemisphere is you can divide Earth into 2 hemispheres in various different ways. One is north and south, but one is water hemisphere and land hemisphere. Land hemisphere being the one with a lot of land, like Europe and North America and like Asia. And the other part would be mostly water, which is the Pacific Ocean. So if you divide it that way, who would be someone from the water hemisphere? And one such person might be an Australian. So this would be Australian, which is obviously Australian is an anagram of Saturnalia. I should mention that. So that's how it works. So we have Australia, and then this is LIA, 3 letters now, and N at the end. So Australian is the answer to this one. So this is the wordplay, disturbed Saturnalia, anagram, these letters to get an answer meaning one from the water hemisphere. So now that we have that, we can solve this one since we have the answer there. But we also have some useful letters. So let's start with the crossing letters. Especially this is very useful because we already have 3 letters for this answer. So 4 is going to be at least 5 letters. It could be 6 or 7 if these are doubled. One of these or both are doubled. So let's see. 4 down. Otherwise known as Mr. Clay and as. Otherwise known as, with this LIA there, is going to be alias. So that's the definition, otherwise known as. And how the wordplay works, we have to find a famous person whose last name is Clay, Mr. Clay, and we have to find another name for him, and that would be Ali, Muhammad Ali. And AS would be just these AS there. That makes Ali plus AS makes alias, otherwise known as. Now let's look at 3 down. Just foul behind, disgusting. So behind can indicate different things. It can be a positioning word, meaning that a word is behind after another word. But it can also be the behind of a letter, the end of a letter. So foul behind could be this L here. So foul behind And then we need a word for disgusting. Put those together, and that would make a word for just. Now the L would be here. And now this is going to be a 6-letter answer. And the disgusting is awful. Something is disgusting, it's awful. And lawful means just, not as in only, but as in rightful, lawful. So that gave us 3 letters for this long answer, 9 across. But let's look at this first. So this is a triple, so we're looking at exactly 5 letters. We have these 2 ending letters here. So let's see. 8 across. Strong legislation has many weaknesses. Weaknesses is plural, and we have a plural answer. So this is going to be our definition part. Many weaknesses. Legislation is here is law. So we have one letter, then LA and WS. And weaknesses are flaws with an F at the start. So F, law, and then this has is just the apostrophe S. So this S here. Now, where does the F come from? F in music scores means strong or loud from forte. So F is often in cryptics means strong or loud. So F plus law plus the apostrophe S gives us flaws, many weaknesses, and the many is just indicating that it's plural answer. And now we can, now getting into this corner, we can't really get into this corner otherwise except by solving these 2 down. So I guess we're going to have to do that before we're going to look at these others. So let's do 2 down. At the 11th hour, drinking a drop of tea or coffee. Now, drinking and eating are indicators. A word drinks or eats another word or another part, it takes it inside it. And a drop of tea, a drop of these letters, if you take just a drop of this word, it's the first letter, the T from the word tea. But that would be this T here. Now, a 4-letter word, this is a triple, so a 4-letter word, or 5, because this could be doubled, 4 or 5-letter word, meaning at the 11th hour, takes inside it the T to make a word for coffee. Well, if something happens at the 11th hour, it happens late, and a latte is a type of coffee. So this is latte, and still no doubles here, just 5 letters. And that gives us an E for this 7 across, and it gives us 3 letters for the 1 across that we skipped. So let's do the 1 across here. 6 across. So this answer was Australian. Australian native deceased mimic. Now we have the LAT here, so if we put one more letter here, we can find a word from deceased, which is late. The late someone is the deceased someone. So that's going to be the end of the word. Something late. Now we have to find an Australian native here to make a word that means mimic. Now if you emulate someone, you mimic them, or emulate something, you mimic it. So an emu is an Australian native bird. EMU here. Now that means one of these is going to be a doubled cell. Either this EM plus this U, or this E and this MU. Now we don't know which way that goes before we solve this 1 down. So to do that, let's maybe solve this 7 across first. Aerosol that comes in a can and fire, a powerful weapon. Now this is a sort of unusual type of clue in that it's a triple definition. So we're looking for something that can mean aerosol that comes in a can, that also means fire, and also means a powerful weapon. Now fire here, obviously in the surface reading it's a noun, but here we need to fire um, as a verb. So something meaning to fire. If you fire someone, you axe them, A-X-E. And an axe is a powerful weapon, and axe is a brand of body spray, which is aerosol that comes in a can. So that's three definitions for the word axe. Now that gives us an A for one down. So that's a long one here. Baker, who fought for civil rights as the central figure in Barcelona, Lima, and Los Angeles. Now, in a long clue, you might be thinking which way to do I look at the end or the start for the definition? At at the end, you have Los Angeles, and that's often abbreviated LA, which is a useful component for wordplay. So you might think this is the more likely part to be the definition. And in fact, this is the definition. Baker who fought for civil rights. Now, we're not looking for a baker, we are looking for someone named Baker. And the wordplay then is here, the central figure in Barcelona. Now, what's going to be the central figure in Barcelona? That's going to be the central letter of the word Barcelona, and that's this E here. So we have E here. Then we have something meaning Lima, and then the LA, and we have the A already in the grid. Lima is an international radio code word for L, like you have the radio alphabet. Lima is the word for L there. So E for central figure in Barcelona, L for Lima, and LA for Los Angeles spells out Ella, and Ella Baker was a civil rights activist. Now that means that one of these is going to be doubled because it's a four-letter answer. It can't be this one because that would be EL, and we have to make emulate here. That doesn't work, so this has to be E, which means we have a doubled LL here, and for the emulate we have a doubled MU here. So that's this entire corner solved. Now let's look at this corner where it's sort of in already with this N and this full here. So let's look at 5 down. So we're looking at least 6 letters, and it could be 6 or it could be 7. Sorry, what did I say? It could be 7 or it could be 8 even. If these are both doubled, that would be 2, 3, 6, 8. Yeah, that 8 is 6, 7, or 8 is the number of letters here. So 5 down, where the 12 angry men are hurt. Now 12 angry men is capitalized. It's the name of a film, and that takes place in the chambers of a jury. So the 12 angry men are in jury, and a hurt is an injury. Hurt as a noun there. So injury is going to be the answer there. And that's a triple, so we put JUR here, and then just the Y. So this is not a double here. And now it looks like, actually no, we still get something for this long answer if we do this 8 down first. So 8 down starts with FLA, which looks very useful, and it's either 5 letters or 6 or 7. So it was 8 down was here. In addition, innate talent is to shine bright. Now, in addition, if you see in addition, it's often used to indicate a homophone. In addition, so you hear something. So a homophone for a word meaning innate talent, and the answer would mean to shine bright. Starting with FLA, well, once we have this FLA, it's probably not too hard to find the word flare. FLARE, meaning to shine bright, and that sounds exactly the same as innate talent. FLAIR. Your flair is your inner talent, your innate talent, I should say. So flare spelled like this is the answer to shine bright. Now, if you look at what this 9 across is going to be, so we have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, at least 11 letters. Any of these three could be doubled as well. So at least 11 letters for this 9 across. So let's see. In a proficient manner, consider getting faster construction with sturdy backing. Now, which end is going more likely to be the definition here? In something, in can obviously be an indicator, but in a something manner could be like an adverb, and we have a y at the end. Somethingly could be an adverb. If we look at this side, we have sturdy backing. Now, backing is an indicator that can mean several things, at least three things in cryptics. So it can be something is backing, it is going in reverse, so a reversal indicator. It can be the backing letter of a word, so it could be this Y here, which looks promising because we have a Y here. Also, if this was a down clue, it could also be a word backing another word, supporting it from below, so being after another word. But here it doesn't work because it's in a cross clue. But if we take this Y as sturdy backing, as this backing letter of the word sturdy, then this looks like something fully, doesn't it? F-U-L, one letter, and then Y. So something fully would mean in a proficient manner. So consider, we have to find a word for consider, and that gets inside it getting faster construction. Now, construction of this word is its component in a different order. So an anagram of the word faster inside a word to consider, and then put the Y at the end. No, faster doesn't have this U and this L, which is going to be there. So the word for consider is going to end ULL, and it's the word mull. You mull something over, you consider it carefully. So mull, considering faster. Now we have the F here, so this is going to be ASTE in some order. That's 4 letters. The R is here. And in fact, I just set them in the correct order because that is NASTE in that order, and we get masterfully, which means in a proficient manner. Let's see. Now we have 3 starting letters for this 10 down, which is unusually good, right? So let's do that. And we had no doubles here, by the way, for this. This was an 11 letter answer. So let's do this 10 down. Guided around eastern high desert. Now, obviously, around can mean a word is around another component. So it could be, and eastern can be abbreviated E. So this could be guided, a word for guided around the letter E. But there's another option as well, and that is around eastern, we have something else. And that is in fact the case here. So high desert is a real place, but that's not relevant here. High is an indicator, as in if you're high, you're messed up, you're like intoxicated. So a word being high means it's in the wrong order. So desert, if you anagram the word desert, put an E inside it, we need something meaning guided. And steered means guided. You guided a ship, you steered a ship, let's say. So steered is the answer here. Now that's one letter too long. So we're going to have one of these words, one of these cells doubled, because STE, ERE, and then the D would be somewhere, but we don't know yet which one is going to be doubled. So we are going to need these crossing answers to confirm that. So let's look at 11 across. So this is a triple. So this is at least 5 letters, could be 6 if this is a double. So here we are. Harsh conditions continue. Backs covered at all times. Now backs, like backing we had earlier, something backs it returns. So it can be reversal, but here it means the back letters, the end letters of these words, SE. So conditions continue backs are S and E, and that covered, that covers on both sides another word. So this starts with S, and then it has a word meaning at all times inside it to make a word meaning harsh. If something is severe, it is harsh, and that would have the word ever inside it. And if you're ever means at all times. So if you're ever watchful, you are watchful at all times. So that's SEV here. And then we would have double letter here, so ER. So that's a 6-letter answer. So we need a double here. Only one place to double in this one. So that solves this 10 now. We know where the doubler is. We only needed one double cell, and that's this one. So steer, E, and D is the 10 down. Now then, let's look at this 11 down because we have SEV already in the grid. Concert perhaps interrupts silent interval. Now, something interrupts something. Something is a component is inside the thing that it interrupts. Silent starting with S is SH. Something sh. Something says sh. Someone says sh. They say silent. That's the same thing. So the last letter is going to be H here, and that contains a word meaning concert, perhaps. Now, starting with EV. Now, a concert is an event. So we would have EV, ENTH, meaning seventh. And seventh in music is an interval. So this would be just the E. That's a 7-letter answer. NTH here. Didn't need a double letter here in this cell. So seventh, an interval. And now we can look at maybe this 9 down, which is a long one. Winged insect whose life cycle is typically 60 to 90 days, covering November and December perhaps. Starting with this M here. Now if we look at the end, December perhaps. Now what could December be an example of? And obviously month would be something that December is an example of. And we have an M at the start. Now it could also be months, plural, because then it would be November and December perhaps. That would be one example of months, plural. But November also is useful for wordplay in that we had the lemma for L from the radio alphabet, and in the same radio alphabet we have November as N. So if something covers November, something covers N, something is around the letter N, and that would make the word month. Now then, that would mean all of this would be month without the N, which is moth. And a moth is a winged insect whose life cycle is typically 60 to 90 days. So all of this is just to clue the word moth. Now, month is 5 letters, and we have 4 in the grid. So we are going to have a double somewhere here, and we don't yet know where it is without this crossing answer here. Once we have this answer, we know where the double is. But before that, we can't write anything in the grid. So let's do this 14 across. Endless energy produced, that's of no use to anyone. Now, again, if you look at the start and the end, which one is more likely to be the definition? Endless is a very common, not very common, but I mean, it's a pretty clear indicator of removing the end letter of a word. Now, it's not in this clue, but you might think that this is going to be a wordplay indicator, so the definition should be somewhere here. Either that's of no use to anyone, or of no use to anyone, or something like that. Now, this could be very well be endless energy, just to remove the last letter of the word, a word for energy. But here it's actually the word endless plus E for energy. It's a abbreviation for energy in physics. Endless E produced. So we make something out of those letters. We anagram endless, the word endless plus E to make a word meaning of no use to anyone. And if something is needless, it's of no use to anyone. So needless is these letters plus this E here anagrammed. Now, can we write that in? This N would be here then. And then this is a triple, so we have DLE. And then we have two letters left, S and S. So no doubles in this one. Needless was the answer. And that solves, fixes this doubler as this cell. So this is just the O, and the TH is going to be here. Now then we are going to have to go into this corner, and this is the way to go. So start with this 12 down. This is at least 5 letters. This is a triple. This could be a double, so that would be 6. 5 or 6 letters, 12 down. US R&B singer is drug addict injecting heroin. Now heroin can be abbreviated H, or I guess is sometimes referred to as H. So something, a word injecting something, like we had with drinking. A word drinks another word, takes it inside it. A word injects another component, it takes it inside it. So also I realize I've been doing this same hand gesture like 10 times a video. So, but we have a lot of this something put inside the other word. It's a pretty common thing in cryptic crosswords, and that's why it has so many different words that can be used to indicate it. So injecting is a valid thing for putting one component inside the other. So we need a word for drug addict, put a H inside it to make the name of a US, an American R&B singer. And a user would be a drug addict. And if we put H inside user, we get Usher. And Usher is a singer, the name of a singer. So that's no doubles needed, just this triple here. And we are in this corner. So 15 across would be this then. Earth unexpectedly surrounds man with the liquid lead and heat. Unexpectedly, I think we've had this exact indicator. At some point, unexpectedly, in an unexpected order, we anagram this word Earth. That surrounds an abbreviation for man, which is M, and liquid. Now, this is going to be a case where you have to read this a little bit differently. It's not liquid lead. This is actually for the cryptic reading, for the wordplay, you have to read this as liquid lead. So the lead letter of the word liquid. So L. So anagram Earth, put that around M, put L at the end, and you get a word meaning heat. Not heat noun, but heat as an adjective. Heat something. Heat is a word that can precede a noun in the sense that the answer can, which the answer is going to be thermal. So it's T here, just single letter, then MAL here. Now we don't know which one of these is going to be the double cell. but thermal, MAL are going to be here in some order. So we're going to need this crossing answer to differentiate. We have a U for 12 cross, so let's look at that. Extreme assault rates kept secret. Kept again indicating insertion, can be used for that, but is not here. Yeah, here actually the indicator is kept secret. So some these words are keeping secret, are keeping between themselves a word meaning extreme. And if you look inside these words, you have the word ultra here, ultra meaning extreme. Now ultra is 5 letters, so we don't need any doubles here, just this triple and then a single A here. And now this 13. So we are going to be looking at either 5 letters, or if this is doubled, 6 letters. And if it's 6, this ends in AL, and if it's 5, it just ends in AL. So let's see. 13 down, stellar altars renovated. Now this is doesn't like renovated is an anagram indicator. You renovate these letters, but this could still be 5 or 6 letters because altar is 5, but it could be altars with this S here. And in our case, it's going to be this S is going to be part of the anagram, but it doesn't have to be. Something is renovated. I mean, this could be part of the indicator as well. But in this case, anagram this meaning stellar, not stellar as in great, but stellar as in relating to stars, and it's going to be the word astral. So this is a double cell, AL, and now thermal just has the M here. So this is our completed crossword grid. And we didn't have any indications in the description how to find the final answer. So how are we going to find it? Well, if you think about what we've been doing, something that we didn't get from the get-go and something that we've only figured out when solving this is the location of these doubled cells, right? This was the thing that we had to figure out in order to solve this. Now, what if we look at what the doubled cells are? Can we mark them with a color that actually stands out here? Or maybe this blue does. So this is a doubled cell. This is a doubled cell. We have a doubled cell here, here, and is there another one? Here is one more. So if we look at just the doubled cells, that spells MULLERTHAL, Mullathal. And that is going to be our final answer. That is a place, and we can look up what that is. If I can find it. So this is Mullathal in Luxembourg, and Wikipedia calls it the Little Switzerland, which is why we were referring to the previous destination there. So this is a forest area in Luxembourg with nature that somehow looks like Switzerland, I guess. So that's our that's going to be the answer to episode 20. And we can look at where we are at the map. I have way too many windows open, by the way. Let's see. So here we are. We are not in Sicily. I just zoomed in not to give anything away. So there we are. So we were in Switzerland last time, and now we're in Luxembourg. So still making this zigzag across Europe here. Started in Ethiopia, and that's our trip so far. So that was episode 20. We can now look at what episode 21 is going to be. So that's going to be another crossword, and then we have a LITS puzzle or LITS puzzle, and that's going to be called something that I don't remember, which is why I'm scrolling down. So sardines and octopi is going to be the name of episode 21. For this one, thanks for watching.